Alrighty, welcome to another screencast edition of Adobe Illustrator. Today we're going to be focusing on using the Pathfinder tool to make this clothespin. I will admit this is a little bit more difficult because this requires a little bit more manipulation of some shapes and creating customized shapes from here to here. Now, first of all, what we need to do is make our first customized shape. And the first thing that you see in the entirety is your rectangle. It's right here. So make sure you open up your widget. If you haven't, click on this and hold until your submenu opens. And click this little arrow right here to open up that widget. Anyways, once you have that, select your rectangle. Now, get near to the corners to match up the size and width. So click and drag and release to make your shape. Now you have a rectangle. That's the first step to establish the first shape. Now, I could go again and use the rectangle tool, but that's going to be a little bit too tiresome and it takes too much time. Rather than that, I'm going to show you a little bit of a shortcut. You could actually duplicate your rectangle by simply pressing the V key to activate your selection tool. Just press the V key once and once only. Once you have that, hold the Alt key. Hold the Alt key and you'll see two overlapping arrows together. That's your duplicate feature. So what you're going to do is when you hold your Alt key, left mouse button, drag, and release your left mouse button, and you made yourself a duplicate. Be sure to change up your color right here onto your fill and stroke value on the toolbar on the left. So you could differentiate. Make sure you have your selection tool activated with the V key as in victorious. I'm going to resize it here to match up the ending here. So right here, I'm going to overlap just a few millimeters. So now that I have this, you may ask, why am I doing this? It's not a triangle. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to make a triangle by just simply moving the anchor points within this shape. Now press the A key. A as in the first one in the alphabet. That'll activate the direct selection tool. As I stated before, the direct selection tool, what it does, it selects and isolates anchor points within an object. So I'm going to hover. Onto my black one right here, my black box. I'm going to go to the top. When you see that little white dot appear, click on it and it'll turn red. Now, if you look on your keyboard, you'll notice your directional keys, up, down, left, right. Now, I want you to press the down key, and what it'll do, it'll nudge the anchor downwards. You keep on going right here, and I'm going to stop. Repeat the same process, but this time I'm going to move up. And just like that, I made a triangle. Now, in order for it to work, you have to make sure that you are near the anchor point. If you're not in the anchor point, you'll be accidentally selecting the whole object. You have to make sure when you hover to the anchor point, you'll see a white dot enlarged. Once you have that, click on it to activate one of the anchor points. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the back side because, of course, the clothespin has a little bit of depth within the ends of the clip. There we go. And just like that, I make the first shape. Now, I'm going to press the V key. I know I'm going fast, but bear with me. I'm going to select my first shape. Now, since we got the first shape established, what I'm going to do is use the Pathfinder tool to combine them or subtract them. Considering this shape right here, what I'm going to do is select my rectangle tool first. Then I'm going to hold the Shift key. Then select my makeshift triangle. You should select both. So again, select the rectangle. Hold the Shift key and click on the makeshift triangle. Once you have that, go to your Pathfinder tool and select minus front. Just like that, you're able to create your object. So I'm going to select these to move them here. There. And I adjusted it just nicely. That's the first part. Now we're going to start with our second part, which is this right here. I'm going to select my ellipses tool, which is a fancy word for circle. I'm going to hold my shift key, left mouse click, and drag. I'm going to change my colors to a different contrast. So I'm going to press the V key. I'm going to nudge it over here with my directional keys to move it here. Want it to touch the little border lines right here, the bordered lines. Okay, now I want to reestablish the same process of using the Pathfinder tool by selecting my rectangle. Then shift select and select the circle. Second, go right here to the second mode, which is minus front. Select, and you've got this already. There, we created that now. I'm going to do it again for this time for the oval right here. I'm going to move this aside right here so at least I know what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is make an uneven oval. Don't worry. What we're going to do next, we're going to actually use the direct selection tool. We're going to isolate some of the handles on the anchor point. So press the A key. So once you have that, hover to one of the anchor points on the side, and it's going to activate the handles. Hold the Alt key, click one of the handles, and it'll move the individual handle as such. Make sure you release after one action and reactivate with the single click for the anchor point. And then repeat the same process by holding the Alt key. There we go. Once you're done, resize it to make sure it fits. There you go. There we go. I'm going to resize it here. There. Alrighty then. So now that we established the shape, what I'm going to do is select my rectangle tool, my oval. What I want to do is minus front. So I should have an empty space here. Now, here comes the difficult part. I'm going to move this aside. This part is a little bit different, which requires a little bit of space. So what I'm going to do is actually use the ellipse tool. I'm going to show you how to do this. Hold the shift key to make a perfect circle. You'll see why. I'm going to change it up to a default color. Press the A key. Activate the bottom anchor point. It'll activate the handles. Now hold the Alt key and move it inward like this. It should look like a upside down radish or an onion. So once you have that, I'm going to go to my select tool. What I'm going to do is hover outside of my boundary box until it turns into a curved arrow. Hold the shift key, drag, and it'll turn around this way. So I'm going to resize this like that. There we go. Now make sure you line up each point from here to here. So once you have that, select the rectangle again with your selection tool. Shift select and select this oblong onion. Once you have that, again, minus front. And just like that, you're able to create the object. If you want to get closer to some of the stuff and adjust, you could select these tools right here. And move the handles. There we go. And there you have the most complicated part fixed. Now, these two right here is fairly easy. This requires just only a rounded rectangle. So make one, make a duplicate by holding the Alt key. Make sure it's in selection mode to do so. I'm going to make it into default colors. There we go. Move it back. So I'm going to select this first, second, third. So make sure you hold this first, shift key, second, and third these. Minus front, and voila, you got that. Last but not least, the line. All you have to do is line it up here. Make sure you have a contrasting color. I recommend it as a white. Let's go to your color picker onto your toolbar. There we go. You make a mistake, you can easily move it by using the direct select tool. Here we go. One last time. Select this, minus front. Oops. Since this is a line, minus front doesn't work. You could probably unite it if you wanted to. If not, let's see. There we go. I'm going to zoom in here to make my makeshift line, which is basically a rectangle. Select my right here. Select this and this. There you go. Select the rectangle. Select the small line rectangle. Minus front. There we go. And voila, you made your clothespin, just like that. That concludes this tutorial. I will be providing for this for you, hopefully by today.